Hey, thank you for tuning into this video. Today we're talking neighborhoods in which we've helped young professionals, which being 37, I tend to think that anybody under 50 is actually a young professional. I actually tend to want to think that way. Yeah, so I thought about sharing with you neighborhoods that actually we had great stories of people moving to. So the first neighborhood I want to tell you is Griffintown. I actually lived one street away from Griffintown. I lived there for 5 years, a little bit more than 5 years. I loved it. I miss it so much. It was great. I mean, new constructions, beautiful condos, super bright, close to downtown. You have so much entertainment, and at the same time, you have very accessible. You have dog parks, you have the Lachine Canal, which is amazing. You have so many people enjoying bright sunny days by the Lachine Canal shores. It's beautiful. And another pro of Griffintown for young professionals is that you are close to downtown Montreal, like you're glued to downtown Montreal. So there are a few main axes that go from downtown to. There are a few main accesses that go from downtown to the Griffintown area. I can show you here in the map. There are a few streets. You have Pile, Montagne. You have Lucien Lallier. You have Guy. You have many different places that bring you to Griffintown. So you will find grocery stores. So it shows that it's a higher density for residential properties, especially condos, because you have a lot of amenities that actually, a lot of like the living of people, not simply the working of people. We can differentiate both. You can have downtown Montreal, you will have a lot more office spaces. You will not have a big grocery store such as you find in Griffintown, which there are, if my memory is right, there are 3 of them, which are very large. You also have a university campus. The campus of the university is huge and it's beautiful. Been there many times with friends that study there. So in terms of transportation, what I like about Griffintown is that it is super efficient to live in Griffintown. You don't need a car. You actually have access to Bixi, Communauto. Bixi is actually a type of bicycle. It's bicycle racks that are pretty much everywhere, and you basically pick a bike, then you drop it whenever you're done, and you have a membership that you can buy every month, or you can pay as you go, and it works by time. Then you have Communauto. Communauto, I think the English way of saying it would be commune auto. So it's basically cars that you can pick up for the day. Actually, I don't know what's the shortest time that you can pick up a car for, but there are pickup and drop-off locations a little bit everywhere in Montreal. In Griffintown, you have subway stations nearby, which makes it very easy to commute. You also have the buses. You actually have a bus that goes straight to the Montreal airport. What's fantastic about Griffintown that I miss so much is all the restaurants there are and all the terraces that you have in the late spring, summer, early fall. Beautiful places that you have restaurants that are fantastic. We'll eventually make a video touring these restaurants for sure. Griffintown really has a lot, and it's very well positioned. And for young professionals looking for bigger condos, bigger apartments, which we also call condos here. The same thing as the subway, we call it metro. I'll pretty much say it in every video because I always get asked, what does it mean, metro? It's not everywhere in the world that it's called the metro station. It's mostly the subway station. That being said, Griffintown, you should definitely check it out, and we will do specific neighborhood tours eventually, so stay tuned. One of the things that I miss the most about Griffintown is that they have beach volleyball fields. So you have sand patch. They have a huge sand patch with 3 volleyball fields. Maybe there are 2 left. With all the construction they've been doing, it has changed a lot. But definitely the volleyball fields are still there. You can see them a little bit through this when I'm filming. I miss playing beach volleyball, being close to home. It was just relaxing by the shore of the Glachin Canal, and well, it's been a while, no, but and it shows maybe. But jogging, when I used to jog a lot more, was fantastic to connect Griffintown. I used to live in a little area called Point St. Charles, right below Griffintown, and you have the old port that connects to both of them, and it was fantastic, amazing. The vibrancy of the summers in Griffintown is amazing. So definitely I recommend it for young professionals, and it's been the case from the clients we've served that they do love the place. Should you have any questions and you want to see more about Montreal or something specific, leave a message in the comments and we'll be able to take a look for you. The next neighborhood we're talking about is the Plateau Mont-Royal. Plateau Mont-Royal is an amazing neighborhood. It's basically properties from the 1800s and the 1900s that are multi-level properties, but it's the individual apartments, so we call them duplexes and triplexes. There is not as many towers of apartments like we do see in Griffintown, like we were saying before, but you do have a high density of older properties that most of them have been renovated inside, and they kept the cachet of the wood features, for example, of old apartments, and that makes it very appealing, in my opinion. I do love that combination of the vintage. It's a personal style. What I like about Plateau Mont-Royal also, so what our clients told us about Plateau Mont-Royal is that one of the main interests that they had for the Plateau Mont-Royal is, first, you do not need a car to live in the Plateau Mont-Royal. You have metro stations, you have you have a huge park, La Fontaine Park, beautiful park, huge. Actually, you can see it in the map here, and you have so many boutiques and small cafes and restaurants and small specialized grocery stores that I would say, okay, I need my vegetables from here, I can buy my meats from here, I can buy all the bakeries that I need from here, and you have it all walking distance. The other thing that it has is also it's the terraces and the restaurants. So you have beautiful terraces that they actually build, again, the late spring, summer, and early fall, that you can enjoy with friends, and obviously every evening after work, and you also have the weekends packed. So it's something that actually it's super nice for those that are looking for a exciting social life. You have events actually happening all summer long. You can there are performances in different rooms and theaters. You have museums. Most of the clients we served for the Plateau Mont-Royal are young professionals that are in the beginning stages of their jobs. They want to stay there, and even though it could get loud because of all the restaurants and all the the life of the young people with a lot of energy, which I miss now being a father of three, it's that they feel that they can live their entire life there. It's beautiful and it is very social. And what they like is that a lot of businesses have been moving in to the Plateau Mont-Royal area because that type of young professional demographics that you can find there, and it's a very appealing for the companies, which, you know, in the urban development, we never know, is it the company that actually created that effect of actually being so appealing for young professionals, like large companies such as Google or Element AI. Is it the company that offered that opportunity, or is it the other way around, that the companies, they actually took an opportunity to be close to them to acquire young professional talent? That being said, next neighborhood that I want to talk about is Villeray. I have friends living in Villeray that they love it. And actually the difference between the Plateau Mont-Royal and Villeray in my opinion, and I also got the feedback from many friends that live there, is that Villeray has some of the amenities that the Plateau has, like restaurants, cafes, walking distance. But if you have a car, you won't go crazy looking for parking like in Plateau. Plateau is really, the Plateau Mont-Royal is really, it's a sport to find parking in winter. And obviously, we always bring it to winter because in winter things get more challenging with all the snowbanks that sometimes they can stay there for a few days, if not more. So Villeray has that beautiful cachet. You can have properties that are also as old as in Plateau, but generally they're a little bit newer, like maybe 50 years newer than the ones that you find in the Plateau. And what's interesting about Villeray, you have what we've seen, bigger square footage, bigger space for the apartments that you can buy. What our clients found is that Villeray, in their decision between Plateau and Villeray, because they're really close to each other, in the selection process, they saw that Villeray offers maybe a little bit more tranquility. They like about Villeray that they can go to the restaurants, go to the cafes, and they can go back to their house and have potentially also more backyards. The clients we've helped, some of them, they wanted to have backyards, and we found more success in Villeray for a property like that. So that's a very positive element if when you're moving here, you're looking to have a backyard. It is also more affordable. It is also, real estate prices in Villeray also are lower than the ones in the Plateau. In every neighborhood you will find properties that can go through the roof, that can go way past the average for the area. However, in general, the clients we help, we were able to get them a better pricing per square footage or amenities of the property, such as a backyard, in Villeray compared to the Plateau. Another aspect of Villeray that is super interesting, if that's appealing to you, is that it has such a huge community vibe to the area. So one of the things that I noticed is the alleyways behind the homes. Often in summer, they can do a gathering, potluck style, so everyone brings something to the table and they had just a great time. So that's something that they built as a community in Villeray. Not everyone and not everywhere. However, it's something that is also very present in Villeray. Then we're gonna go back to close to downtown Montreal, and we're going to talk about Ville-Marie. I won't address the entirety of Ville-Marie because it's a huge neighborhood. However, these are some of the images that I'm going to show you are a lot of new condo buildings, apartment buildings were built, and they host a lot of young professionals that they want to be close to their office at downtown Montreal. It could be, in some cases, we had clients that their parents were buying a property for them to stay in while they actually go to university, which we have universities in Ville-Marie that are very present. And obviously Ville-Marie is the core downtown of Montreal. So when we talk about access and transportation, everything. You don't need a car to live in Ville-Marie also. Pretty much one of the criteria that my clients told me, the different people that are relocating here shared with us, is often they say, in the beginning, I prefer not to have a car, not to own a car, and to get to know the city and to get to move around. And they either Uber or they take the bicycle or other methods of transportation. But in the beginning, they prefer not to own a car, understandably. And I think it gives you a feel. That's how I discovered the city. Before owning a car, I picked up my bicycle and I went everywhere. And back then, it was a lot easier to bring your bicycle in the subway These days, I think there are specific times where you cannot bring the bicycle in the subway, in the metro. I think now they have specific wagons in the subway train where you can put your bicycle, where you can bring your bicycle in. So that being said, Ville-Marie offers pretty much everything that a big city like Montreal can offer. You have the museums, you have the universities, you have the beautiful condos with an amazing view of downtown Montreal, or on the other side, you have an amazing view of the Saint Lawrence River. You have the Old Port, also the view of the Old Port, which is one of my favorites. If I was able to afford it back then, I would have loved to live at the Old Port. It's such a beautiful place. Another really cool aspect of Ville-Marie is the nightlife in Ville-Marie is amazing. I mean, that's mainly where many of the clubs, the nightclubs of Montreal will be there. And depending what you're into, you can have clubs for everything, pretty much everything. The whole spectrum of whatever partying is for you. Last, I'll tell you about Mile End. Mile End is actually close to the Plateau and close to Villeray that we spoke before. What I like about Mile End is the vibe of Mile End is really, really nice. Most of my friends are in Villeray and Plateau Mont-Royal. However, the clients that we've helped to live to Mile End, that through time we developed a relationship, they tell me that Mile End has a vibe on its own. And I think the moment that you go to Mile End, you can see that you're in a different vibe, a little bit more, a lot more modern, in my opinion. The way that I see Mile End is if you combine Plateau with the vibe of Griffintown in a place that looks like Villeray. For somebody looking that doesn't live here, that is like completely gibberish. It doesn't make any sense. Come and visit. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a beautiful ambiance. You do have the terraces. You do have the beautiful apartments, duplex and triplex. I haven't worked with any clients that have purchased any big unit. When we shop at Mile End with clients, we don't really look at big apartment buildings because, to be honest with you, I don't know if there are any. Most of them, the maximum I've seen in Mile End is 6 floors. Most of the apartments that we've shopped in Mile End is duplex, triplex, first, second, third floor, ground floor. So what's nice about Mile End is that you don't need a car. Also, it's very walkable, easy for transportation. It's also very green, like Villeray, like Plateau. It's lots of restaurants, cafes, and bars, which very nice. I remember one of my clients telling me that's the area where you can find vinyl records, for example. It's like type of vintage that they bring it back and it becomes trendy. So Mile End is very, very trendy. That's one of the things that I love about Mile End. All the places we've discussed today have amazing cultural diversity. It's actually beautiful to visit these places. The vibe is amazing, and I think that's why young professionals that are looking to buy a property in those areas, they have reached out to us. If you're looking to move here or to relocate from anywhere in Canada, US, or in the world, just don't hesitate. Send us a message the whatever way you wish. We are looking at our emails regularly. If you haven't already, subscribe. We're posting videos as often as we can. We do have a crazy real estate market still, so bear with us. We do want to give you all this information for free on YouTube to make sure that when you come here, you have the most information and you make it the best experience of your life. That's what we wish for you.